How's it going, guys? It's me, Domo, of the Domo Taku Anime Channel, here today with our weekly reaction of Charlotte. And let's just be honest, guys, I am really sad and not happy right now. I am really sad, guys, and we all know why. Key, I'm looking at you. Come on, guys, he was just a freaking middle schooler. Oh my gosh, guys. Viewers, if you're watching this, we know how much we've been waiting for this episode to come out. Ever since episode 6, we've been waiting that whole week just to see what happens in episode 7, and, I wanted Ayumi to be alive, but lo and behold, the first thing that we see in the animation is you waking up in a hospital, right? And he wakes up, and then, like, the nurses and doctors are like, oh, he's awake. And then what he's just more worried about is like, oh, where's Ayumi? Is Ayumi okay? Is she alive? And they tell us she passed away. She's dead. And I was just done. I was like, I don't want to watch this episode anymore. I was like, come on. Oh my gosh. Like, well, after weeks of waiting, there's our answer. She's dead. And, well, what the hell, guys? Come on. She's just in middle school. Key! Why you gotta do this to us? And then they play the freaking opening, and she's still inside the opening, and she just looks happy and stuff, and I'm just like, no, come on. Oh my gosh. So, there's a lot to talk about in this episode, and I'm gonna talk about it after I talk about this whole episode and all the questions and stuff, and yeah. So, after you in the hospital finds out that Ayumi is gone, they have this memorial service towards her, and that was sad too. And then eventually he goes home, and then he's just like holding a picture of her in her room, and like he starts crying. He's like, I'm sorry that you've forgotten this, and like, did I ever repay you? Did I ever do anything for you? I can't. You're gone now, and I can't ever repay you for all you've done to with me. And like, it's sad. Like, come on, that whole episode was. This whole beginning part was just us, the fans, and him crying our tears to Ayumi's death, and like, come on. So that was it for Ayumi's case. The whole episode takes a very huge downfall after you after the death of Ayumi. And I didn't expect this at all. I expected Ayumi to be alive, right? But now that's not the case. I had to think, okay, what's the worst case scenario that would affect you after Ayumi's death? And I didn't really foresee this at all. So basically, what happens to you is that after Ayumi's death, he has not gone to school at all. He stays in his house all day. He sits on the couch eating instant noodles and watching TV in a dark room. He has become a shut-in. And that was just terrible to watch. I was like, "Oh my gosh, no. This is bad." He's starting to change. So, yeah, he's just been eating instant noodles, water, watching TV in the dark room, and that's it. He hasn't gone outside at all. It's bad. This is bad for his health, right? Eventually, of course, he's visited by his friends, like the student council. We have Yusa and Misa and Megane-kun coming to visit him. It's like, oh, you haven't been coming to school a lot lately. You want to go hang out or have a meal with us and stuff? He just ignores them. And to their thing, like, they really want to help. I mean, like, Megane-kun is his friend, and Misa is, like, saying how she understands him a little bit because, of the fact that she lost a sister in a way. So these guys really want to help. Like, they're his friends, but I mean, you just casts them away, and he's like, no, I don't want anyone's help. I'm fine. I don't need help. It's just so hard to watch. And Megane-kun's just like, oh, he needs time to recover from this. And I thought that was true too. I mean, I thought that you would be okay. It's like, okay, if Ayumi dies, he'll probably be crying and sad about it for a while, but he'll come back to his feet, right? That's what I thought. In this case, it wasn't. Time wasn't what he needed. Eventually, he continues his days as a shut-in, and he's visited by someone I didn't expect to see in this anime for a while. If you guys remember in the first episode, and you guys probably do because you watched the anime too, the girl from the car crash and where he ate pancakes with in the first episode, I don't know her name because I didn't expect her to come back in this whole series ever, right? So she comes, and she's let in by the building manager. She sees the whole scene of him just on the couch with his blanket, watching TV in a dark room with all the instant ramen and water bottles on the floor, and it's terrible. And I'm like, okay, maybe she could help us. She's an unexpected character I didn't expect to see. Maybe she can save you. And eventually, she's just asking him, like, "Oh, let's go eat pancakes together. You saved my life. You know, I feel that I should come here and help you. I heard you haven't been going to school. Let's go outside together, right?" And it's like, you just cast it aside as like, "You want to help me? Then go buy some more instant ramens or something like that." It's like, what? If you're here, you want to help me, then do an errand for me. I'll pay you back later. And it's just bad. Like, come on, you're seeing this, right? And I don't know how to save you anymore. It's like, can he be saved? Is he done? Like, really? So eventually they have this whole falling out thing when he's like, "Oh, you're mentally ill. You need help." He's like, "Don't call me sick. I'm fine." And he just like kicks the garbage on the floor towards her face, and yeah, she eventually leaves because she can't help him, and that's it, right? And then he continues his days being a shut in, and then eventually he runs out of his supplies of noodles. So like, oh crud, I need to go outside and buy some more. And then he's getting all ready and dressed, and he goes outside, but he sees the building manager, and behind him, two dudes in black suits, like secret agent looking guys. And he's like, oh crap, they're trying to find me or trying to get a hold of me or something like that. So he uses his powers, he beats up both of them and injures them to the point where, he walks out and he's just like, oh, I'll be heading out for a bit. So at this, I'm gonna talk about that afterwards. But yeah, at this point, it's just like, oh great, he's left his house and he's just going out somewhere. We don't know what he's gonna do. So he gets he gets as much money as he can from his bank account, right? And he takes a train and he goes far away from like their city slash town slash place, right? His plan is to just go as far away as possible so that the wet hair dude can't track him anymore. He just wants to be away from everything. He wants to go away. He wants to be alone. He wants to want to see anyone. Just yeah. And I mean that was just like, oh crap, this is going bad. Like every single moment in this anime is going bad for you, and I'm more worried about how they're gonna save him, right? So he goes away to this new town, right? And in this new town, he basically starts to live in an internet manga cafe. Oh my goodness! The internet manga cafe is freaking 24 hours. You could sit in a small ass room with a TV or a computer, right? And you could just do whatever you want in there. And lo and behold, he was actually watching Angel Beats in that room. But I was trying to make a joke out of it when I was watching this, but no, I can't make a joke out of it because he's still a shut-in, and he's like, we need to figure out how to save him, how to bring him back from this state he's in. And so now, instead of eating ramen all day, he eats pizza all day. And for crying out loud, it's going bad every single second of this anime. So he starts eating pizza. He's just sitting there watching whatever it is on his computer. And yeah, he gets bored and he eventually starts to leave the internet manga cafe, trying to find something to do. And it's just getting bad every second. Now he starts. So it went from noodles to pizza, and then he finds this dongo store, right? Freaking dongos of all things, freaking key. You and your references. He starts eating dongos, right? And then he discovers his arcade where he finds this like House of the Dead kind of shooting game, arcade game, right? And he plays it, and lo and behold, he starts to have fun, but in the sense of that he's killing stuff and like it's going bad again. Like, oh my gosh, I have a bad feeling about this. So every day now he starts to go to the arcade, eat dongos, and just kill zombies in this game, right? And eventually it goes to this point where he sees these guys hogging the machine, right? And he picks a fight with them. And then these three dudes bring him to this place, right, to try and beat him up, right? But then instead, he's using his mind control powers to beat the crap out of them. And then he uses his dongo sticks that he eats with, and he stabs the dude in his knee. And at this point, I'm just like, no, are you serious? Like, think about this. Okay, we haven't seen like any acts of violence or like blood in general, technically, ever since like episode 6 with the cement falling on the person, right? And that was about it. We haven't seen like any sense of blood or violence yet. But like to this point, but he stabbed he eats dongos, and he uses the stick that he eats them with to stab people in their knee. And what the hell? I'm so baffled by this. Like this is not you at all. I mean, at this point, he's like, oh shoot, he's different now. He's changed. I don't think we could save him anymore. So after that whole event, right, he just starts going out on the streets, picking fights with people, eating dongos, and continuing to threaten to stab them with them. And like you see it right here, like he uses their mind control powers to beat the crap out of people, and he's like threatening them with their dongo sticks, like I'm the strongest now, and like he's making this whole thing that's like, oh, it's so much funner to beat people up in real life than in video games, and like, oh my gosh, it's so bad. Like I don't know what to do. I don't know what to think about this anymore. So eventually, this continues, right? He goes on a freaking rampage of beating people up with his powers and eating dongos on the way. Eventually, he beats up this crew of people, right? And um, he finds this thing. I don't exactly know what this thing is because they don't show it in the anime a lot, but I'm assuming it's like a cigarette or like some kind of drug or something like that. So he takes this thing from this guy he beat up, right? He goes off to this like parking lot where he's going to like smoke this thing, or I don't even know what the hell it was, but he's going to do something with this thing, right? And at this point, Tomori comes in and kicks it out of his hands, and I was just like, okay, we haven't seen Tomori in this whole episode, right? If there's anyone in this anime that could save you at this point, it had to be Tomori. And I was just so happy to see her, right? She kicks out the thing out of his hands right before he's doing anything with it, and he's just surprised to see her. It's like, wait, you, when did you? And then like she's just like talking, is like, oh, how long have you been there? And then we find out that Tamori's actually been following you this whole time. This whole time, and I'm just like, wait, no, there's no way. Are you serious? And like, at first, I expected Tamori to be like, at least watching him, but you see in Tamori's perspective that she's been following him ever since he left the house, and she's just been standing right next to him this whole time, and I'm just like, no way. Are you serious? That's some like dedication thing right there. And she admits that she sort of feels guilty about, the whole thing with Ayumi, right? And like, of course, because, everyone in student council knew Ayumi, and like, they were trying to save her, but they failed, and etc. And she partly feels guilty, and she wanted to help you, right? Uh, Eventually, you is just like, no, leave me alone. Don't go away. I don't want to ever see you guys ever again. Like, I don't want to have to do anything with you guys. So eventually, Tomori is just telling him that, if you did that thing you were just gonna do, I don't know exactly what it was. If you did that thing, you would stop being human, and you would just, there'd be no turning point back to being human. And then you is just so angry and confused. He's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Huh? What do you want me to do? What should I do? What am I supposed to do after this, right? And I mean, you can't blame you because, after like the death of his sister, you're just at this, like, I don't know this feeling, right? But I mean, he's lost right now. He doesn't know what to do anymore. He's lost sight of everything in his whole life after the death of Ayumi, someone he really cared for. And I mean, yeah, he's just wandering around and trying to find what to do now because he just lost his sister and he doesn't know what he's supposed to do and after this, right? So Tamori, she's just saying, well, for starters, I mean, you could probably use a good meal. And I'm just like, what is this? And I thought that they were gonna go eat with the whole student council president, or the student council, right, with their friends and stuff. But basically, Tamori takes you to go eat a good meal at some random dude's house. It's empty, right? And I'm just like, what the heck is this? She has the connections and stuff. So Tamori brings him to his house, right? He's like, okay, I'll take a bite out of this thing that you're gonna make me, right? And then we're done. We're done, okay? We're not gonna see each other. And he just like sits on the couch, watches TV while Tamori is cooking, right? And he has like vivid flashbacks of Ayumi there cooking for him, and like it's just reminding me and everyone else about Ayumi. It's like, oh my gosh, I hope this works, right? And eventually she's done. She's like, oh, it's done, right? And he has this like nostalgic flashback of Ayumi. He's like, huh, Ayumi, what's? And then like you see the food in front of him, and the food is a freaking omelet, and like, damn it, Key, you're so genius. Like you see the omelet, and what I mean by the omelet is like the freaking omelet or like the egg thing that Ayumi keeps making for lunch for you, and I honestly thought Ayumi made this thing, and it's like, no, it's Tomori. And then you is just staring at it as like omelet or like whatever it is, and like, no, there's no way. And he takes a bite out of it, right? And he just remembers it's the same taste and the same feeling that when Ayumi makes it, right? So then he's like, no way, it's the same. It tastes the exact same thing. He starts crying, and he just shoves it in his mouth, and he starts eating, right? And oh my gosh, I had hope. I had hope, guys, and it was happening. So then he just gulps the whole thing down, right? And Tomori's just happy, you know, oh, I'm glad that I made it the same taste. And he's like, how did you make it the exact same taste? Like, oh, I found this cooking recipe in your house. And apparently Ayumi circled the recipe for this one and probably said that it was your favorite in the past, and I decided to make it for you. And then he has the flashbacks of Ayumi and the last omelet she ever had with her, and then yeah, and then he's just like, okay, well, what are we supposed to do right now? What do you mean? It's like, okay, after this, we were supposed to go our separate ways. We weren't supposed to meet again, right? After one bite, but then Tamori's like, oh, but you ate the whole thing, so you should do something else. And he's just like, well, what should I do now? And for starters, you could come back to the student council president. And he's like, yeah, I'll do that. And his face returns back to normal. He has his old face back, and he's like, oh, go, go, go clean yourself up, right? With his towel. He puts it on his eyes, and he takes it off, and he's back. He is back, and I was just so happy. And that was the end of the episode. This episode was so good. Oh my goodness. From surprise things like the girl from the first episode to the omelet, like, oh my goodness, this episode was brilliant. And Key, you are an awesome freaking story thing. They make great stories, right? But you still freaking manage to hit the feels when they're needed. So that was the end of the episode, and all the things that I honestly want to talk about in this episode is the fact of you. So at the beginning, we saw those two dudes in suits, right? And of course, we had to get away from the fact that Ayumi's dead and how that'll affect everything else in the story. But the two dudes in suits that were trying to go and talk to you in his apartment, we don't know who those guys were, honestly. And I thought that I was more worried about how, with you and his rampage of mind controlling people and being the crud of people, I thought that would cause some serious like tension towards him through scientists or just people hunting him down. So there's not much to talk about in this episode except for the fact that this was all meant for you and his recovery towards Ayumi's death in episode 6, and the only thing we're gonna find out more about this is next episode, honestly. And I mean, this is episode 7. Yeah, 7, right? I think. And this series is scheduled for 13 episodes, so I'm really curious on how they're gonna do things in this episode with only 6 episodes left. So thank you guys for watching this episode reaction review. This episode was just really brilliant, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. I know that a lot of people were really like hyped after episode 6 because of all like the stuff that happened, right? And this episode was really great too, and I just can't wait to see what happens next week's episode. And to find out, I'll see you guys then next week. So thank you guys for watching. Take care, and matane.